exploded. It was so, although we celebrated, and I remember when the play was finished and Matt McGinn told the audience and they all clapped, and we came out and out of the theatre and along the street, and I used to go to those pubs at the bottom of Stockwell Street, the Scotia Bar mainly then, and was, oh hello, people all cheering and laughing, but I don't remember anything after that. The street wasn't like full of people celebrating, but when Celtic came back along and came along on the bus and all that, it was fabulous.
Did you go along?
I didn't go along. I only saw the film of that. But I've spent most of my life on the road. I'm always somewhere else when things are happening.
The good stuff goes
Aye,
on.
there's good stuff. You know, I even had a gig on the night I got married. You know, I was playing in Kirkcaldy, Kilmarnock. I was there the other night at the same hall.
Really?
Aye, the wife had to come with me, you know.
Brilliant. What about your favourite player? Is it Jimmy Johnson?
It'll be Jinky, yeah. But it was a real toss-up for me between Jinky and Charlie Tully.
Right.
I adored Charlie Tully when I was a boy. And I've loved Bertie Auld for years. And I don't think Bertie gets the credit that he deserves. You know, not only when he was playing when he was young, but when he came back in as a more mature player. And this, you know, he was looked on as an old guy, but he was in his 30s for God's sake. And he really settled the European team down. And he's got this, he could easily have been a comedian, Bertie. It makes me roar and laugh all the time. And he's got this effect on players and people that anybody around him, he can relax you very quickly with his humour is so damn good, you know. And he played a massive part. And Simpson, the keeper, but he gets the accolades, you know. They talk about him like he was 84 when he was playing, you know. He wasn't much older than Bertie.
83.
Yeah, and but Bertie gets unsung, and it irritates me. The same way nobody talks much about Stevie Chalmers. You know, and he was brilliant as well. And I was just doing an autograph outside the theatre here, and the guy said, "You're next to Tommy Gemmell." I was very proud of myself. You know? Aye, but Jinky, I think, when all is said and done, I think Jinky would be the man. You know, I've never seen George Best was a fantastically good football player to watch, just like Jinky, and he did the same thing. It was a brilliant thing if you had it done. If he got you tickets and you went to the game, he would do a wee trick for you and do that. You beat somebody and that was for you, you know. It's a great buzz, you know.
What about now then, if you could take two players since Lisbon? Is there two people that would stand out if you fit into that Lisbon side?
What, Celtic players of today?
Yeah, it's got to be Celtic.
Aye.
Hard
Well,
question,
it's really difficult. Oh my God, let me think. I think Sean Maloney has the makings of a fantastically good player. But he's in that position that Burchill used to be in at Celtic. He's not getting the games to keep match fit, and then when he does get a game, he looks as if he's not at his best, but he isn't premier match fit, and it's very, very unfair, I find. And Chris Sutton or Neil Lennon. Neil Lennon, I think. He would be a useful guy.
He doesn't get as much credit.
He doesn't get any credit. And Lennon, to me, is a great hero because, off the park as well, because of what he has stood up to. And when they talk about the anti-bigotry campaign, it has to be conducted not only among Celtic supporters and Rangers supporters can sing the sash their father wore till I'm blue in the face. I don't really care. I don't think that's where the problem is. I think the problem with bigotry is in people who won't give people houses or won't give people jobs and stuff like that. Or to broadcasters who are on a Saturday and Sunday on sports programmes, and when people say, "Why is Neil Lennon being booed?" they say, "I don't know." When they do know, they could cut to the chase. They could be so instrumental in stopping this crap. And if Celtic were celebrated more for the immense steps they've taken against bigotry, You know, because if I was anything to do with Celtic, you know these guys who turn up with an Irish flag with IRA on it sometimes, I would ban them from the park. Because, no, they're an insult to the people who don't want bigotry in the park, but they're also an insult to every Irishman in the park. You shouldn't do that to people's flags. You know, and it's the same when they sing in the Irish national anthem. They shouldn't go, "Where's that?" and stuff like that in the middle of it. You know, an anthem's quite a serious thing. You know, you should do it with dignity and seriousness. But all in all, it's the don't knows. I have a go at them on stage. "Oh, I don't know. And I say, "Well, I do know. I know exactly why. How come you don't know when you're in broadcasting? Maybe you should resign if there's stuff you don't know that everybody else knows." But I've always felt with Scottish announcers, you can, and I don't think it's my paranoia, the famous paranoia, but you can always hear in them when you win, you hear them getting a wee bit deflated. You know, it's not quite how they planned it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can I take you back to your performing? Because a lot of the Celtic boys go along. How do you feel about them being there? Do you, because you like them
they
so
never
much?
tell me who's in.
Oh, do they not?
No, they never, you know, even if it's other show business, they don't tell me. Relatives, you know, I don't know what night they're there, because, not because you get all greeting-faced or jumpy or irritated, it's just, you think about it when you're on, and it kind of stops you thinking about what you should be thinking about, you know. And, you know, even if it's Granny or your Uncle Tam, you know, it goes round in your head. And with show business people, sometimes it's good because you can stick something in about them, you know, and irritate them a bit or make them laugh. But normally I don't care who's in. It's lovely when they come back, you know. It's you know, especially Paul Lambert and people like that, you know, because he's been coming for a long time. Derek Johnson used to come a lot, and Ali McCoy, he came in New York, he came to see me, but we've been pals for a long, long time. And so I've had a lot of football players. Charlie Nicholas used to come a lot, you know, and in the Celtic days, and it was great. You know, I've had a few football players who've.
Do you ever borrow any of your material from your old days at the Terracins? Because you often hear fabulous one-liners.
Aye, but they don't really do for the stage.
Yeah.
They don't work. I don't know what it is. There's a dynamic in them. They're usually stuff that can be shouted into the air if you all know what's being talked about, but it rarely fits. You know, it doesn't fit on the stage. They're good to tell people about, but they don't. The best thing that ever happened to me at Celtic Park was, there was a big flash guy with a camel hair coat, and I didn't have my seat in those days. It was in front of the stand, down what they used to call the enclosure down there. I was sitting with a guy called Hughie Jordan. And the big sort of tie belt camel hair coat guy, he comes up with like a £20 note and he says, "Put your name in that, big man." And I went, "Oh yeah," and I signed it and I gave it away. And the guy behind me had a 10p and he says, "Could you put your name in that?" And it was so hot, you know, it was so brilliant. And there was a game with, it was a Jimmy Johnson and Bobby Lennox testimonial. And Jock Stein, before it there was a game with Manchester old guys, and Manchester United old guys and Celtic old guys, and it was people like Bobby Collins and all that. It was extraordinary guys who were immense in my youth. And Jock says, you go on and be the referee. And I said, "Oh, I don't know, come on." You know, Jock Stein, he was always niggling, making me do things. And so I got down to the dressing rooms and he gave me my outfit, and it was a blue tracksuit and a Rangers scarf and hat. So I marched out with the two teams. Oh, no. You can imagine the bedlam. You know, the whole place exploded. And if you don't mind the language, but just to quote what they did, I was walking, I sent the jungle off. Boo, boo, and I went, "Shh, get off," you know. And I sent it, I've got a picture of it from my back, sending, you could see her faces, yes. And then, like, just clockwork, they said, "You can stick your wellies up your right, and and then at the end, I was sitting with Big Joe Beltrami, the lawyer, and he says, "You better get in when Celtic come off the park, and I went away down to say, shout to the guys, and the people went, Billy Connolly, you know, in that ball situation.